After hearing some ho-hum reviews about Hubris following its PC VR launch, I lowered my expectations considerably when it came to the PSVR 2 version. There were reports of brain-dead enemy AI and confusing reload mechanics, but strangely what I didn't hear about was the epic sci-fi adventure I was about to embark on that no VR gamer should miss out on playing. Hubris kicks off as you're ordered to respond to an emergency call from a dwarf planet. Now, there's a bit of a cutscene as your commander talks to you. You're still free to walk around, and these do happen sporadically throughout your adventure. But unlike most VR games, it never feels intrusive. Not surprisingly, you do have a floating robot companion, as you do in way too many VR games these days, but she generally lets you do your thing, doesn't interfere, and just offers some advice along the way. Luckily though, despite their desire to tell their story, developer Cyborn Games knows that you're here to play. So, once that cargo door opens and you swim out, well, that's when things get interesting. But before we talk about the game itself, we do need to stop here and talk about what will be the most divisive part of Hubris, and that's the graphics, because Hubris sports some of the better looking environments that we've seen on PSVR 2, with cool water refractions, a variety of environments, great texture work, and plenty of sprawling vistas. It's all really impressive, especially for a game built from the ground up for VR, but it does come at a cost. The 60 to 120 reprojection in Hubris bothered me in a way that no other PSVR 2 game before it has. When you're standing still, everything looks fine, but in motion, the ghosting becomes a distraction. Now, keep in mind that not everyone's as sensitive to these things as I am, and I did get over it within just a couple of hours. Now, once you've acclimated to the game's visuals, you'll see that Hubris gives us everything we want from a VR game. You'll be swimming, running, jumping, climbing, shooting, and scavenging the world for items to craft with. And thankfully, all the issues from the PC VR original seem to have been worked out here. I do have to say though, and this might be a strange tangent, the first time I played Hubris, the first 2 hours felt, I don't know exactly how to put this, a little soulless maybe? As if the developers were giving you things to climb and things to shoot, just because. As if it was some kind of extended tutorial. But what I realized later was that even though I was on this strange alien planet, I never felt like I was in danger. So I have to recommend something here that I most never recommend, and that's starting Hubris on its hardest difficulty. It adds to the tension, makes scavenging feel more essential, combat feel threatening, and you'll have to manage your health right from the get-go. But no matter what difficulty you play on, you've got to admire all the gameplay mechanics the developers managed to include here. There's a lot of climbing, and anytime you're not sure how to get from one place to another, you can guarantee that there's something somewhere to climb. Maneuvering these climbing sections means that sometimes you'll end up in a wall or struggle to grab the thing that you want to grab, but 99% of the time everything works the way that it should. You also have a reason to take your time and explore the environment to scavenge as many raw materials as possible. The crafting system actually works somewhat similar to Saints and Sinners, where you dump everything you find into a machine that breaks them down into their core components. This will let you craft health items and upgrade your futuristic pistols, shotgun, and SMG multiple times over. Unfortunately, the game isn't long enough to upgrade all your weapons fully in one playthrough. Hell, the first time I played, I never even used the shotgun, making me really wish there was a New Game Plus option. Oh, and speaking of weapons, Hubris has way more of a first-person shooter slant than I expected, and that's a good thing. Now, my gold standard for sci-fi combat on PSVR 2 thus far has been Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, mostly because the haptics and triggers felt so good. Hubris isn't nearly as impactful in those departments, but especially on the hardest difficulty, it feels far less like a shooting gallery than Star Wars did. It starts off easy with just some jellyfish and little alien creatures that swarm you, but when you start encountering humanoid enemies, things get intense fast, with one section in particular taking me at least 5 or 6 tries to get through. Steadying the weapon with your offhand gives you a laser dot, so you can get even more precise with your shots. Although, after reloading, the game doesn't always recognize that you're trying to steady your weapon again, forcing you to make a deliberate motion with your offhand away from the gun, and then bring it back to register the grip. It's a small complaint, but in the heat of battle, it can get annoying. I don't think anyone will be especially blown away by either the story or the voiceovers in Hubris. It's a little generic and falls a bit flat, but there are moments, and these moments make Hubris feel special. It feels like we're just scratching the surface of a much deeper universe. Plus, it's all juxtaposed against an epic sci-fi movie-like soundtrack, making the adventure feel bigger or amplified. The only thing that ever pulled me out of the immersion were the occasional, extremely short loading screens that would, at random moments, fade to black before reintroducing me to the world. Clocking in at around 6 hours and definitely worth playing twice, Hubris does so many things right for a VR game. It delivers everything you want, in fact, delivers everything we've sort of expected from VR for the last 7 years, but so infrequently got. So if you loved Red Matter 2 but needed more action, or you enjoyed Tales from the Galaxy's Edge but the adventure left you wanting more, well, then Hubris is the big budget sci-fi summer blockbuster you've been waiting for.
Falling debris! Incoming fighter jet, avoid its line of fire! Whoa! That was close, recruit!